A reading of the Drudge Report for July 16th, 2019. Up at the top, we have a bumper of all those who, not all those, but the few people that Trump called out for hating America. Specifically, he was talking to Ilhan Omar and said, you can go back to where you came from if you don't like it. And I support it. I wholeheartedly support it. These people actively and very verbally hate this country. Think it's the worst country in the world. As they're in positions of privilege and power, they talk about how terrible this country is, especially to minorities, which they all are. As they're in positions of power, they scream and screech how this country is so terrible. It's ridiculous. These are all going to be the communist elite who destroy the country but are wealthy, as the rest of us are starving to death. That's what you're looking at here. Squad fires back. President digs in against Dem Congresswoman. Whatever, it was some back and forth on Twitter. It wasn't a big deal. And it's not a big deal to tell someone, hey, if you hate America, you can leave America. And you can. You can leave America. CNN and MSNBC say racist 636 times. Excuse me. That's a typical day. Blah, blah, blah. Romney. Mitt Romney had something to chip in here. Doesn't matter what Mitt Romney says. He's old news. Mitt Romney, you're a breed that's been passed by. This is beyond being a neocon. This is a Democratic Party that hates the United States of America as founded. They've always been, I thought, the Socialist Communist Party, and they've just hit accelerate. I believe Nancy Pelosi wants socialism in the country, but I believe that she thinks these people are just pushing it too fast. And maybe she doesn't agree wholeheartedly with ridiculous things like the Green New Deal. But, I think she's more empathetic to that stuff than anything that says America is a great place. It's time for Obama to speak up. The ex-president's not supposed to speak. He's supposed to keep his mouth shut. But, doesn't matter. House set to condemn, don't care. New docs revisit Rep. Omar's marriage. I'm on the left-hand side here. And I thought Laura Loomer proved that she married her brother and committed immigration fraud when she was just running for the House. But again, it doesn't matter because we're in a post-law world if you're a progressive. Laws don't matter if you're a progressive. Public outrage doesn't matter if you're a progressive. Poll shows sour views of race relations. Yeah, you think? It's never been in my lifetime as bad as it is now. And the funny thing is it's all pretend bad. You go outside, you go to work, no one thinks about this stuff. And you come home and turn on the news and you think the world's gone insane. It's really crazy. Everything is great. And then you turn on the news and the whole world is burning. Schumer announces support for slavery reparations. Jeez. I don't know what to say. They just always know how to better spend your money than other people. More free money to people doesn't help them. It hurts them. I don't know how much longer we have to do this experiment of keeping people on the Democratic plantation. But this stuff just hurts people. All this stuff, you're a victim. We're victims. We're being victimized. It's destroying people and making them hate other people. But it's being done on purpose. And if it's not being done on purpose, it's being done on purpose for power. So they either want us all to hate each other so they can control us, or they just want us to hate each other so they can gain political power. They want one side to have hatred for the other so they can ensure the vote. Isn't that sick? Isn't that unbelievably diabolical? I couldn't do that. I think a lot of people in power are narcissists and don't have a soul, possibly actually worship the devil. I'm not sure. I look at some of the evil sometimes, and it's so blatant and so thick. it's shocking to me. Tech giants brace for DC showdown and echo of Bill Gates. You know, they've been in there before, and they don't ask him any hard questions, and they don't call him out when they lie. So I'll believe that they're facing something when I see it. But what I would like to see done, and how you could take care of this whole tech situation, is what other people have referred to as an internet bill of rights. I'm sure a lot of you know what they're talking about, you know. But one thing that I want added to an internet bill of rights, it's like freedom of speech online and rights for being online in a new modern world. Rights that platforms can't discriminate against you for any reason other than something that's already in U.S. law. But one thing I would like added is that you own your own data. The user owns the user's data. And you may not sell, share, or do anything with the user's data unless express written consent. And I'm not talking about you sign the terms of service. I mean, asking individuals, paying individuals for their data. How about that? How about you just stop selling everyone's data? So forget about the express written consent part. Everyone owns their own data, and you may not sell or share data. And that'll crush these tech companies, especially the really bad ones, the social media companies, the Facebooks. Evil. And that'll destroy them, because that's how they make their money, is by selling and packaging your data. It's really despicable. Searches for canceling Prime spike on Prime Day. Why are people canceling Prime? Why are people hating on Amazon? I hate Amazon because Sears and who else? Sears and JCPenney closed, and I don't believe that we could have a one person own all of retail in the country. Internet searches. All right, quit moving around. Fucking websites try to load so much stuff that they move all around. Then the previous day, according to a search engine, the data suggests shoppers want to snatch up discounted gadgets and appliances. If Amazon is hoping to use Prime Day as a way to sign up and retain new Prime members, they might need to rethink their retention plan. According to Search, consumers are signing up for Prime, getting their deals, and then canceling their membership shortly after. Okay, so it's people signing up for Prime and then them unsubscribing. Got it. There's not a mass exodus from Amazon. It's just so damn convenient, but at the same time, it's destroying such a big part of the economy. Well, maybe not destroying, because the people are still buying the stuff, but it's really putting brick and mortar out of business. One company can't control this much of retail. It's too much. It's just too much. It puts too much of a stress that you can't open any kind of shop and sell anything, because Amazon's going to sell what you sell. So there's a little company, and they make joystick extenders for video games. You could be more accurate in video games that need very fine movements if you have a taller joystick. And you could either buy a $300 controller with taller joysticks, or you could buy something that's just a little piece of plastic that just sticks on the top of your joystick. And they sold these things for, $12 to $18 for a pack. You get 2 or 4 of them. And it was whatever. And then I was on Amazon the other day, and I needed one of these. I wanted one of these. And I searched, and now Amazon Prime is directly manufacturing them. You believe that? It's such a niche thing. And Amazon's like, no, we're going to manufacture this for cheaper than you, and we're going to wipe you out. And on one part, it's the free market at work. And on the other part, he won. You won. And I think it's destructive to the country to be this big. But damn, is Amazon not convenient? Holy shit. Ex-CNN analyst, major news outlets, Zionist organizations. Well, that's true. I'll challenge Trump to push-ups. This dude is so out of touch, and what a nerd. I mean, I watched his interview where he was saying where he was coming back after Kamala went at him in the debate. Come on, man. Did you see it? Oh, come on, man. He just kept, it's like, dude, you're 70 years old. I don't want a friend. I want someone who knows what they're doing. And you just seem like you're, what is it? Trying to get cozy next to people who are stupid. Come on, man. I'm trying to be a person and tell me what you're actually going to do. We don't believe you're a person. You're a robot that has focus grouped answers, and you try to give them to your best ability. And anytime you go off script, you say something really dumb and horrid, they're going to put you all back in chains. It's horrible shit to say. That kind of fear-mongering. It's fucking terrible. They're going to put you all back in chains. You can't go into a 7-Eleven or Unimart without having an Indian accent. You remember that one? It's fucking, he's a gross guy, man. Warren surges past Kamala in California. Beto at 0% in New Hampshire poll. Isn't it so funny that these people that the media just picks up and says, this one, that's what he is. The media just picked this person up and said, we'll run this one. Change your name to Beto, and maybe you'll get the Hispanic vote. And then, who's the other one? Buddy Stuff? Booty Chug? What's his name? They just pick a random mayor or governor or whatever he is, and they're like, this one. This is the one. No one's ever heard of it before, and then they start putting them on the front of magazines. It's gross. They used to choose these people for you. And guess what? They don't get to choose these people for us anymore. Since Donald Trump. He's the first. Ugly is in. Consumers moving away from conventional beauty. Huh. What does that mean? How Crocs and sent the stock soaring. Whatever, Drudge. Not even interested in this stuff. Proving Hitchcock right. Bird attacks turning violent. Dive bombing humans. I'm sure. Why don't you fearmonger a little more? Wall Street Journal. Fearmonger. Gotta get clicks. Please buy my stuff. It started with a whack to the back of the neck. Yeah, you know what? Birds will mess with you once in a while if you're walking by their nest and it's a certain kind of bird. They'll try to push you away. It's nothing new, and it's just obviously fear-mongering. No one gets hurt. And if people get hurt, do get poked in the eyeball, it's such a low percentage of the population, it's not even worth mentioning. Snake-like UFO spotted. Nope, can't go to that website because I won't accept their cookies. Serial pooper forces closure of community pool. Please be in California. Please be. Shit. New York, same thing. Shitholes. Couple married 71 years dies on same day. Front pages of UK papers. I don't see anything about them putting someone who is exposing underage rape gangs in prison for seemingly nothing in a double jeopardy type deal. I don't see anything about it. I also noticed they're banning him off YouTube. Anyone who mentions him on YouTube, they're getting rid of. And Amazon just stopped selling his book. Maybe that's a reason why people to get rid of Amazon. It's amazing. They throw you in jail and then the tech companies memory hole you. It's really, really gross. And it's obvious. And I don't know why there hasn't been action taken long before now. It's so strange. The Conway Show. Kellyanne to reporter, what's your ethnicity? I denied that Trump was a racist. I don't anymore. George? Is that Kellyanne's wife? He's always been saying shit about Trump. What's your ethnicity? Let's see what that's about. White House Counselor Kellyanne Conway on Tuesday responded to questions about President Donald Trump's attacks on 4 congresswomen of color. Oh, God damn it. Excuse me. I don't like taking the Lord's name in vain. A website about politics and technology. If the president was not telling these 4 congressmen to return to their supposed countries of origin, to which countries was he referring? What's your ethnicity? Why is that relevant? Because I'm asking a question. My ancestors are from Ireland and Italy. The exchange took place with members of the media. So I guess she was trying to say, I don't know what she was trying to say. And I don't care. I don't think it's a big deal. This hypersensitivity stuff is over. It's, you tried and they pushed too hard, and the media will still say, she said, what's your ethnicity? And then a whole bunch of people will say, you pushed too hard. I don't care anymore. I'm not hypersensitive to this stuff anymore. You've made it. It was all fake to begin with and manufactured, and you pushed too hard and you exposed yourself. And that George, her husband, who knows where she works and constantly comes out and tries to cause a rift between his wife and his wife's employer. He's a real bad dude, a fucking scumbag. A man would say, my wife works over there. She has different political beliefs than me, and I don't want to say anything. But the personal attacks and all that stuff, real scumbag. Roger Stone avoids jail, banned from social media. A federal judge bans Republican operative Roger Stone for posting anything at all on major social media. How does this not get challenged? How is this legal? He can't let his voice be heard about what's happening to him. Confidant of President Trump violated an already strict gag order in his criminal case. When? I've heard his interviews, and he usually says, I can't say anything about that, and then he lets other people do the talking. Heard him on Gavin, and obviously he's on InfoWars. But she decided not to revoke Stone's bail bond, so she didn't take him to jail. So he didn't have his day in court, but I guess they called him in and said, you can't talk. You're not allowed to talk. Don't you know that this is America? A bit surreal to hear the judge read these posts aloud from 5/8. The judges ruled at political guessed most of the story wrong because they are a biased, elitist, snot-nosed. Yes, Stone is using social media to communicate about what is happening in his case, but argues he's not doing so in a way that would affect or infect it. He says the judge's order was very broad, but admits he hasn't challenged it. Seems to determine subject to the story, blah, blah, blah. Federal prosecutors didn't call on Jackson to revoke. What's the lead? A federal judge on Tuesday banned Republican. Got it. Strict gag order. Jackson barred Stone from posting on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, but she decided not to revoke Stone's bail bond. It seems he is determined to make himself the subject of the story, Jackson said of Stone. He is the subject of the story. Federal prosecutor, how about when they raided his house with 18 people, a boat, and a helicopter? Then they go after a pedophile, and they meet him at the airport with a couple cops. Stone violated his gag order seems clear and correct. Despite, show me how. Stone, 66, a dirty trickster. Stone's arraignment in Florida federal court, where Stone immediately gave the media blitz, including interviews with right-wing conspiracy theorists, InfoWars, and even a video on a courthouse fashion. God. The name of InfoWars is so perfect, because that's exactly, he got it right, and he got it right 20 years ago. And I heard someone saying the other day, you're laundering information. And that's what they do, is they launder information. They get it put out everywhere. For instance, conspiracy theorists, and they do conspiracies on there, and it is damn entertaining. But about other people, right-wing radical. Well, the SPLC says you're a Nazi, so you're a Nazi. That's information laundering. And then they just point to a source, that the source is a left-wing NGO or some other completely, horribly radical person. On his Instagram account, Stone posted a photo of the judge's face next to what looked like a rifle scope and crosshairs, accompanied by text attacking former special counsel as a deep state hitman in Jackson. He later deleted the post and apologized, but Jackson dragged him into a courtroom days later to explain it should not be revoked in light of the apparent gag order violation. Is this the post? I mean, he shouldn't post pictures of his judge. But at the same time, if his judge is treating him poorly and putting a gag order on him, maybe he should post pictures of him so everyone knows that this is the person violating people's speech. Just because he's being charged with something, he's limited in what he could say. He's the one being charged. It's not like the jury, hey, you can't hear anything because it'll bias the case. Roger Stone is the one being charged. Why can't he tell his side of the story in the public forum? It's horrid. It's horrid and disgusting. So maybe you should show her face, because maybe we should know who these people are. As for the crosshair, is that behind her? It looks like it's something behind her. I don't know. I heard about this story a long time ago, and I am surprised this got to court. It took this long, because this was from months and months ago. Paper, 2020 election will be most toxic in living memory. Well, every election's the most toxic in living memory. The Democrats are disgusting, horrid people. They're not people. They're concentrated hate, screaming that everyone is hateful. Republican Mark Sanford considers run against Trump. Good luck. Fucking idiot. Gator in Chicago capture. There's only one person who could handle this shit. And it's fucking Donald Trump. It's not anyone else that could handle this kind of fervor. And it's not Trump who caused it. It's been escalating and escalating. And it's not necessarily, it's his that he wants to put America first and that he's unapologetic about liking the United States of America. And it makes them go insane because they hate it so much. They're so close to taking, Hillary would have been the end of everything. She would have ushered in all this shit that everyone's screaming and wanting for. She would have ushered in the end of the United States. Well, she would have had to have the House and the Senate, too. But it would have just been more. I would say she would have kept the border open and flooding in, but, you know, the border's open still. Chance the Snapper. Yeah, there was a small alligator in a Chicago pond. Someone probably let it go because I really doubt it could survive a winter. If you've never seen those people go find these alligators and they go swim in there looking for it, it's pretty interesting to watch on YouTube. Game of Thrones dominates Emmy nominations. HBO tops Netflix. Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, billions. Who cares about this shit? No one cares about them. I'm so over anything Hollywood. I cut the cord so long ago, and I try not to watch anything that they produce. I try to just watch old things, back when they didn't hate everyone, didn't hate the country, and didn't, what is it called? Oh, virtue signal to you that they're the good ones, while they're doing the worst things imaginable. Four Seasons releases new itineraries for $163,000 jet trips. Whatever. Disneyland becomes ghost town. Well, it's hot in the summer. Lady of the House, who is long entangled with Epstein, abused victims while serving time. Oh yeah, he's a serial abuser of the worst kind. Porn stash flourished thanks to NYPD. Did they release his porn stash? Flourished? What does that mean? A lawyer for one of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers ripped the NYPD on Tuesday for failing to monitor the level 3 sex offender, and said the department's flub may have contributed to his sick porn stash. I'm really surprised that the NYPD let him get away with this, knowing he's a level 3 sex offender, referring to the debacle exclusively reported in the Post, in which the police department failed to follow up on a court order requiring Epstein to report in every 90 days. Yeah, rich people get treated differently than everyone else. It's not anything new, and it's gross. And the way this guy's been treated this whole time, from his old court case to now, to that Acosta dude. I heard that Acosta with his excuses. You know what you do if your hands are tied and you can't do anything? You step down like a fucking man and say this is wrong. You get on the news and you say, this is wrong. And here's what's happening. So even if his hands were tied, he still went through and did it. And I don't believe that his hands were tied, by the way. Petting dog, whatever. Cat lowers stress. Do they love us or just stick around for food? Well, the answer is dogs love us, and if a cat was the same size as you, he would fucking eat you. Dogs love you. Cats are completely indifferent, and if they're bigger than you, they would kill you. Lotus showcases first pure electric sports car. Damn, that's pretty dope looking. Starzeth renews concerns about e-scooter safety. Oh! I hate these "we're gonna keep you safe" things. What did I see the other day? It was questioning experts question the safety of using Uber, for instance. It's like, no, you're questioning the safety of using Uber. People claim, you're claiming, all these beginnings. An expert says, an insider with knowledge. This is all the media making accusations. I don't believe that these people in most cases exist, especially if it's political. And a lot of times it's paid for opposition by a competing company. Instagram fights to remove bloodied images of murdered teen influencer. Yeah, I saw that girl died, but I haven't seen any images of her dead. I've seen the memes and whatnot about that pink-haired girl, Bianca Devins. Social media used to tie to depression. Absolutely. Get off social media. Right side. Pentagon installs third acting defense secretary of 2019. Who is it? When he resigned as defense secretary, Jim Mattis, Mad Dog. Didn't they get rid of him for some bullshit? No, he resigned because Trump didn't want to do war. Because Trump was anti-war. Mattis resigned. The U.S. is still confirmed defense chief with the nation facing potential armed conflict with Iran. I don't think we are. I think it's just saber rattling as usual. And I guess it's the military times. There's no confirmed deputy defense secretary, and other significant senior civilian and military Pentagon positions are in limbo. The causes are varied, but this leadership vacuum is nonetheless... Who is it? Pentagon in its longest ever stretch of leadership limbo. 7 months later, the U.S. still has no confirmed defense chief, even for the nation. Okay, so they don't have anyone? If you've made it this far, my apologies. Pentagon installs third acting. Got it. My apologies. He's an acting defense secretary. He wasn't sworn in. I'd imagine you have to go through, sit in front of the House and get questioned and get called a racist and all that stuff for that position. I'm not sure, though. Separated migrant families sue U.S. government, demand $3 million each. Oh, man. So you commit a crime, you get separated from your kids because they can't keep you together because of all the risks and being put in a cell with adults, and it's not your kids, and you might be being trafficked. And then they have the right to sue. And meanwhile, if you get arrested for having pot or drinking or tax evasion, you get separated from your kids. They make this about being separated from their kids because they want them to just be released into the country because they don't believe in borders. Because I think it's one of two things. They want to destroy the country completely and utterly, or they just want to ensure their power will never end, which is what demographics look like may happen soon. Either way, it's the same result, because them having unchecked power will completely destroy the country to the point where people are going hungry. And I also believe wholeheartedly that these Democrats coming up are as radical as any communists throughout history, and also fascists, which is a political ideology of the left. Concentration camps, Nazis, that's on the left. That doesn't happen on the right. On the far right is no government. On the far left is total government. It's very simple. And what I was driving at is I believe these are as radical as any communists throughout history that we read about in our history books and that they make TV shows out of. And when I say as radical as any communists or fascists throughout history, I'm saying that exactly that very deliberately. As radical as that. And will go to those lengths to ensure their power and make their whatever they think is best, because they don't believe that you have the right to choose your own destiny. They think they should choose your destiny. It's really gross. It's really sick. MS-13 LA yeah, they come in and then they kill people. That's what they do. New York Times reporter leaves following implosion of Trump's taxes team. New York Times reporter leaves following implosion of Trump taxes team. One of the reporters of New York Times Pulitzer Prize winning expose. You know who would have won a Pulitzer Prize winning expose? A Pulitzer. You know who wins a real Pulitzer? If James O'Keefe would have been doing this work, the work he's doing against Project Veritas is what I'm talking about. If he wasn't going against Democrats and this was against conservatives, he would have won a Pulitzer too. It's so gross. This Pulitzer, that's information laundering to give it an air of this is to be put on a platform. This word, Pulitzer, these words don't mean anything anymore. They're all destroyed. Nobel Peace Prize, it's all bullshit. One of the 3 authors of last year's blockbuster investigation is leaving the paper at the end of the month to lead University of California, Berkeley. Oh, that's so surprising. Investigative reporting program. Investigative reporting. Of who? Of Dianne Feinstein's spy in her office for 20 years? Her driver? Spy for 20 years. Why isn't anyone talking about it? What happened? Or is he investigating Ilhan Omar's marrying her brother and committing immigration and tax fraud? Oh, no. It's fucking gross. These people call themselves these things, these political actors, these titles. It's done. Don't let these titles mean anything to you anymore. We are sorry to see him go, but we get to work together on future products, whatever. Won a record Pulitzer Prize for his career, blah, blah, blah. He's a douchebag. Story that he exposed how the president and siblings avoid paying taxes for years with efforts that he described as outright fraud. First of all, it's not fraud because rich people don't pay taxes. They find loopholes out of taxes that politicians are paid to write into the code. The politicians themselves use those same loopholes. So do the fucking New York Times. Get out of here with your garbage. If you want to close all the loopholes, then they can't use the loopholes. But don't hate on him for using the crooked loopholes that your crooked politicians have put into effect. It's fucking disgusting. The Daily Beast reported last month, imploded, blah, blah, blah. Barstow previously told the Daily Beast he was even considering leaving the Times to pursue the project as ghostwriting is strictly forbidden. So he wants to go make money as a ghostwriter. Editors caught wind of Barstow's interest and told him not to pursue it. Barstow said he decided not to ghostwrite a book, but did try to help the source write the book proposal. Look, the point is some degenerate left the New York Times. I'm not going to read the whole article to get to the point why he left. I'm not going to do it. Bury the lead. Bury it as far down there as possible. Bury Trump at the top. Say Trump's bad. Remind people about Trump's taxes. Bury the lead why he left down at the bottom. Doesn't matter. Teal, Warren, most dangerous Dem candidate. Actually talking about what matters. Woke Google employees prefer China to America. I mean, maybe, but a bunch of them did go on strike for that Project Dragonfly thing. And allegedly they stopped doing it. I don't believe that. I do believe that when Peter Thiel warned that Google needs to be investigated for working with the Chinese and having Chinese spies in there, these people are too big. They're way, way too big. They're not governments. Facebook talking about having their own currency. These people they have too much of a role in our lives, and decisions that they make have too much of an impact. Something needs to be done about it. Also, I have a big problem with you canceling an American military contract and taking on a Chinese military contract. I have a big fucking problem with that. And people said, what do you do about it? I have a few ideas of what to do about it. Especially with them, when you search Bill Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein in Google and a picture of Trump comes up and no suggested results. The way they spike their algorithms is so disgusting, and it's been going on so long and changing people's perspectives for so long. They're owed one for a long time. Uber Lyft pays drivers to protest bill making them employees. Uber Lyft pays drivers to protest bill making them employees. Yeah. This is what all companies do, and the ones that get called out, there's another company fighting against them, paying for this headline. So the big cabbie unions are paying for this headline. Or someone else who opposes Uber. There's been a lot of people opposing Uber, which is so damn convenient online. And it can't all be cabbie companies. But there are big cabbie companies. Those medallions in New York, what it costs to drive a legit cab in New York, it's like $1 million for one of those medallions. That's your badge that you have to have on a legit cab. Uber doesn't have to have that. And that's why they fight to keep them out of cities. Because the cabbie unions pay the politicians to fight to keep them out, which is anti-free market. AI solves Rubik's Cube in fraction of a second. Robot ants alarmingly smart. Robot ants, that's kind of freaky. Musk brain-machine interface set to reveal details. Holy shit. Brain-machine interface set to reveal details? I'm going to be following that one. Woman 69 missing in Mojave with no supplies or cell phone and wearing only a bikini. It's a 69-year-old woman wearing a bikini. How one deep fake prankster changing cinema history. Incoming deep fake with Donald Trump right before the election. It's going to involve Epstein. Incoming deep fake right before the election with Donald Trump. It's going to involve Epstein. They're going to drop it 2 weeks before the election. A big deep fake with Donald Trump. It's going to be some gross photo or video of him doing something that everyone will be disgusted of. And then it'll come out shortly after the election that they actually proved it was fake, but it'll be too late to do anything. LeBron James Jr. is 14. He already draws curious crowds. Don't care about Silver Spoon kids. Don't care at all. Neighbors face off over Texas's other lucrative resource, water. What the fuck is that? Wall Street Journal, so I don't know if I believe it. Is it water flowing through 2 or 3 people's property? One powerful West Texas family wants to pipe from under its farmland to oil producers. Another wants to not let that flow. So someone needs the water somewhere else. Who should control the fresh water in a bone-dry region? Many of the region's farmers and ranchers depend on income from selling their water to oil producers. Desert towns like Fort Stockton near the Williams Farm fear their water sources will dry up. I don't know why the hell you would want to pipe water out of the desert, whose family has owned a ranch near the Williams Farm for nearly a century. It's like a space shuttle astronaut selling their oxygen. It boggles my mind. It's interesting. I don't really feel like getting into it right now, but it's pretty interesting. Who has the rights to it? Because it's on your property, but it flows through someone else's property first. It flows to my property after yours. Are you allowed to drain it? It's been a fight going on for stuff like that for a long time. And it's very curious, and I'm very interested in it. North Korea, where are we at? A flood of Africans flee to USA, yeah, but allegedly with Trump's new bill that if you're from another country makes you have to apply for asylum in Mexico. Allegedly that'll stop, but we'll see. We'll see. How Kim gets his luxury cards, don't care. North Korea warns it may start testing missiles again. That's weird. You guys just hugged each other. Or at the very least you shook hands. Who reported it? Is it real? New York Post, they usually don't report negative Trump stuff. Breaking its promise on holding military the U.S. that breaking its promise and holding next month would jeopardize nuclear talks and could result in the regime resuming missile tests. Okay, so we want to do war games with South Korea. They don't want us to, and they say they might launch a missile if we do. It's weird. Does it feel like they have leverage, especially with an election coming up? It's interesting. Iranian bomb boat in path of British warship. Yeah, these Iranians are really they're really pissed off about what Trump's doing to their economy. Fuck them, though. I say under no circumstances we go to war with them and let them fucking starve. Unless they strike one of our ships and try to sink a United States ship. Then I say take out every power plant in their country with missiles. Launch them from the sea, every power plant in their country, and leave them in the dark and then say, okay, we're done. And then the next time, I don't know, do it again. But just destroy their infrastructure. And that's only if they strike us first. We don't need boots on the ground. Just pepper them if they attack us. Cops, Colombian drug smuggler had cocaine hidden under towering toupee. Can you picture that? A toupee, like a cone head with a little piece of hair on top of it. His whole cone is covered in hair, and it's all just coke in there. It's fucking hilarious, dude. Please have a picture. Please have a picture. Look at that picture. Oh, it's good shit. Look at all the ads. Why don't I have ad block? Fucking boomer, dude. I'm always on my phone. I rarely use my computer. Police warn people overdosing on synthetic meth made from wasp spray. Yeah, don't do that. Alright, if you made it this far, this is a long video. I might have to rethink this series. But if you made it this far, do me a favor and subscribe to the damn video. Because if you made it all the way through this ridiculous rambling, maybe you'll like the next one. And I could use some subscribers and stuff like that. I need to put out some more long form videos like the few that I have up there. Just life gets so much in the way and it takes you away from your passions. So I figured I could cut out a little bit of, bullshitting time a day to do one of these real quick. Because it doesn't take the hours and hours that a planned out video does. And I thought I would start throwing these up there. So this is the world according to Tony. If you're hearing this and you're not subscribed, quit being a douchebag, all right? You stayed through all this bullshit and you made it. But this is the world according to Tony, and thank you very much.